Sure, one day you saw a scene in a movie or series. One of the Eskimos wearing fur and heavy clothes and standing in front of a hut built entirely of snow. One of the questions that most people have in mind when they see this scene is how someone will live inside a house of snow. The weather in the regions the Arctic is cold and the snow is also cold. So why should we build a house of snow so that we can warm ourselves inside it? The issue in the first place is not completely logical. But let me tell you that it is logical and very normal. And these houses are not cartoon films, and they are actually snow houses. And they are being built by Eskimos and the inhabitants of the polar regions until today. Therefore, in this episode, we will answer the question of how does a snow hut stay warm from the inside when it is originally made of snow. And before we start, if you are still new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe and activate the bell to receive our videos first. The Arctic region is one of the most extreme environments on Earth, from the coast of North America to northeastern Siberia. But despite that, and despite the extreme cold in the place and the harsh climatic conditions, there is a struggling people who have been able to live and endure in this place for thousands of years, and this people are the Eskimo people. The Eskimos are the ones who live in the Arctic regions, fully compatible with the lifestyle there, and they do not like to leave the place in which they live at all. And this is despite the absence of cities, facilities, or even any landmark of urbanization. All that exists in front of the Eskimo people is a very harsh behavior and lifestyle. And at the beginning, let me say something marginal. The Eskimo people do not like this word. I mean, if you tell them that, they will get upset with you and get very angry. The word Eskimo is derived from a term used for strange people who speak a different language. People call them Inuit instead of Eskimo because Inuit in their language means people. The Inuit people or Eskimos live in icy areas where the temperature in winter reaches -50 degrees Celsius. And anyone who lives in the air at a weather like this must look for a shelter and a safe house to live inside, whether this building is built of bricks or metals or even built of wood. But unfortunately, the Arctic region does not have any of these needs at all. Even the trees and forests in the place is almost non-existent, and that is why the residents of this place have learned to build their homes with the only thing available to them, which is snow. The inhabitants of the Eskimos thousands of years ago resorted to constructing ice huts resembling a dome, and these houses are known as igloo. And the question here remains, how do these ice houses keep them warm? Snow can physically warm you very normally and maintain your body temperature as well. In order to understand this strange dilemma, let me tell you a story about an animal called the sea otter. This otter is an animal that feeds on fish and marine creatures, and that is why it is forced to live in cold waters. But at the same time, there is no thick skin on its body or thick fatty tissues that protect it from the cold. So what does it do to keep warm? It uses air particles. The fur of the otter is dense, and its texture is very soft. And the secret of its heating is due to the texture of its fur from the inside. The fur of the otter is precisely tapered to the point that it can trap air particles inside it. At the same time, air is considered an excellent thermal insulator, and that is why the heat inside the otter's body does not easily escape from it outside. And this is because the air trapped on its fur from the outside prevents the leakage of this heat from its body. And because of this, it is exposed to very low temperatures and does not cool down. Okay, also, you may don't understand now what you want to say and what is inside the otter on the subject. Simply what we want to say is that air is a good heat insulator. And this is the reason. If we find a type of snow that contains a suitable percentage of air inside it, then this would be something suitable for the building process. And here comes the experience of the Eskimos, as they have a very great experience with its type and characteristics. I mean, for example, if I asked you and told you to know how many types of snow you know, you will not know often. But does snow have types? Yes, it has different types. Eskimos have in their language a huge number of different words and terms that express snow. They can describe it with dozens of different words that have been eloquently formulated to describe its type and its current condition. And this is simply because the snow is the most common thing around them, so they know different types about it. There is a type of snow that they call solid dusty snow, and this snow is approximately 10% frozen water and 90% air, and it is in form of layers on the surface of the earth in the icy regions. This type of snow is very suitable for the construction process, first because it is solid and can bear the weight, and secondly, because it contains a large percentage of air. Since the air is excellent insulator, as we said a while ago, this type of snow is suitable for insulating the building from the inside. That is why the igloo used it to maintain the temperature inside it, and doesn't allow it to leak out through its capacity, exactly like a thermal thermos. And this is what required in the heating process, so the heat that our body radiates, or the heat that is around us in the house, does not spill out. It is worth noting that the bottom of the igloo is not a flat surface, but the space from the inside is carved and consists of several levels. The entrance to the house will be very low, and after that it will remain on a second level a little higher, in which the fire will be lit, or tasks such as cooking and others will be carried out. Finally, this last level will be the upper place in which they sleep. In fact, this tiered system isn't random, but it is intended and has an important role as well. Hot air by nature rises to the top because it is light, and cold air by nature descends and settles at the bottom, and that is why any heat present in the place, whether it is the result of the fire that is lit inside, or even the heat radiated from the bodies of the inhabitants, all without exception, rises up and hovers around the people in the area overhead. At the same time, the walls of the hut are heat insulators. So all these things together make the atmosphere warm inside the hut. And the temperature from the air reaches 10 degrees or even 15 degrees Celsius. If you feel that the temperature is still very cold, let me tell you that the weather outside is now 50 degrees Celsius below zero, which means that it is much better than outside. An experienced individual can build his own hut in about 3 hours only. As for large huts that can accommodate many individuals, such as a whole family for example, building their own huts can take 2 days or more. The strange thing is that with the radical progress that took place in building methods, and even with modern architecture systems, no one discovered a better way to build the igloo better than the method used by the Eskimo people. The spiral method and dome-shaped outer structure is a very stable construction with no edges or wasted spaces. And whoever has experience in the engineering field will know that the building that looks like this distributes all the loads and vertical forces that fall on it, and transforms it into a horizontal force that is emptied into the ground so that the building is stable and resistant to strong winds and storms. And this is how we keep answering the question of how does a snow hut stay warm from the inside when it was originally made of snow. Thank you for watching and see you later.